Hey guys, how's it going? Jabber1 here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As I give you a tour of the castle that I've built here in Valheim, I'm going to talk about why Valheim is my pick for the cozy game this winter. Let's get right into it. And here we have the castle. So this is a build that I have on a it's a normal survival server. There are still a few sections I would call maybe partially incomplete, but we're complete with, I have a portal room underneath the trophy room, which if you guys would like to see more information about what that looks like and see a little video on that, you can just let me know in the comments. But I've got my own primary home, which is in the meadows where I first started. But this is my castle build, which is, like I said, completely done on a regular, normal game mode, so no enhanced difficulty, but everything is very much, you have to farm all the resources, there's no cheats enabled. This took me, literal days to complete. But just to get into it, so of course, you get into the main hall of the castle, which I thought I was very creative with this, but I've seen some very insane builds. Some people are so creative and have such good ideas and ingenuity on how to piece together things. This is really all I could muster at the time. I have actually built this, it was like a year and a half on a playthrough ago. So a year and a half ago is when I created this, but I did recently with the update swap out what used to be here were the abomination trophies, swapped out the new bears. I think the bears look awesome with that. These used to be here, and now I have those placed kind of recessed back on that wall. I think it makes for a good look. Of course, I have a pet wolf inside here. Wolfie, very original. Got some of the really cool meals available to eat in the castle. So it acts as obviously the main hall, but also kind of a mess hall in sorts. And then, of course, I love what I ended up doing here. Not to toot my own horn, but going through the boss fight of Motor again, to be able to put that trophy here, and of course getting the Seeker wings. I think the way I did that and kind of flipped and inverted them so it looks like wings for like a dragon, I just thought that turned out really cool. And of course, I've got to have some of these which it took me forever to get a second cultist trophy. I had only one up here for the longest time, but I did end up getting there. Wolf trophies, had plenty of those. Because I've got a wolf farm here. But again, this is the main hall. I have some pretty, normal decor pieces on the wall. I kind of regretted using iron for a lot of this because then I realized, oh my gosh, I need to go get more iron. So using iron for some of the things I put on the wall, I was like, ooh, I could have definitely gone with something different. But again, I've got, this is now going to be my master bedroom. And in this chest here, I've got this complete with a number of armors that I thought kind of made sense to put in here. Progression from light armors on the way up, progression of heavy armors on the way up. Obviously not all of them are in here. The iron armor is not included. You won't see any of the leather in here. These are more of the high-end armors that are now in here. Other armors have been moved. But I have a decent storage system. Some people put me to shame. I've got some extras that I swap into because I'm OCD. I like to keep these chests very organized and try not to dip into them unless I have to. But of course, sometimes if I'm going to easier biomes, just to kind of kit out in a way that's a little bit more challenging in other biomes, I'll go back to an older armor set, or just for aesthetics, of course. But obviously the blue jute around the dragon bed, I think that turned out really well. And of course I put a little antler trophy up here just to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Here I have the trophy for the boss that spawns and raids you. Or this, I can't remember if this is the one that raids you or if this is the one that you have to kill in a one of those quests for Hildur. I can't recall exactly. Over here I do have a guest quarters. This is kind of like the bunk room. So in here I have some friends that have claimed beds. When they come onto the server, we've had them hop in to do some boss fights with me. And again, like I said, I use a lot of iron to decorate things. And I really wished later on I had not done so because I was running out of iron that I desperately needed. But yeah, this is the main hall. Over here is the workbench, and then how do you get upstairs? So this is the main workbench room, of course, complete with a level 5 workbench, level 4 forge, which I don't know why I haven't gotten more of these in here. I'm not sure how this is only level 4. Looks like this is breaching, which I'm pretty sure it used to. But oh well, whatever. I'm not sure why that's not connected. It's been a while since I've had to use that here. But, you know, as you can see, I've got a number of metals stored. I've got a number of hides. Look at the metals, too. I actually did end up, my last iron haul, I got quite a bit of material. I had all of these filled because I needed them to do stuff. So I had a big L of just iron. And eventually ended up going through a lot of it. So I did have to make a couple more hauls. But I've got, you know, a number of different woods still left over, miscellaneous materials, the works. Let's go upstairs here. Nice thing is it's daytime. So here is where I do my smelting, and obviously make any extra coal I need. Down pretty low on coal now at this point. I have a variety of walkways over here. These are currently not full of black metal arrows, but I do have more. I could probably go ahead and actually fill these. Which, you know, these go off at me all the time, and that's kind of the problem and why I don't always keep them filled, is I like to run out here and get materials. Black metal, I have just an endless amount of black metal. And even if I don't go out to fight enemies to get it, the other mobs that now spawn at nighttime do the work for me. But let's go quick down over to the wolf paddock. So this is where I have a number of wolves that I had tamed. Well, they're all 1 star. I don't have any 2 stars here. At my main base, I did get 2 stars over there. But I have 1 star wolves with a chest. And this area gets a little bit flooded when the tide's up. But this chest has actually still pretty full on meat. I haven't fed them in a while, just because of the fact that there's plenty of wolves here. I don't want, you know, to have too many at one time. I don't need more wolf meat right now. So I will selectively farm the wolves, and I don't like attacking them all the time and getting rid of them. And so that works out well. Of course, the windmill, a good view off of this rock. That tar pit over there has proven useful a number of times. Then right down here, I've got 2-star boar. And of course, with the boar, I had to bring these over by boat from my primary base, which is not too far from... Luckily, my primary base is not too far from the shoreline where I have a port. So getting the boar over here was not that big of a challenge, and it worked out pretty well. So this takes a loop around to the back side of the castle. And of course, I got some of the vines up in here from the Ashlands biome for vine berries. These, being able to grow them here is a godsend. That's really, really been nice with some of the higher end foods being readily accessible thanks to doing this. And of course, if you guys have seen, you know, I've got some honey beehives around. Here is a little bit of an armory. So in here, I have a bunch of... Earlier, I didn't get a lot of high-end items in here. But if I have friends that hop on that are new, and I don't want to just give them, like, better armor, like, actually let them kind of play the game some, you know, I'll give them stuff out of here and then just make replacements. The bombs, I never use these, but I did end up putting them in storage over here. Yeah, obviously I've got just some fine wood bow, which is a good bow to give, you know, again, newer players, they'll be strong. I'd rather them grind it from nothing, but it's something. And then of course too, you know, I've got some slightly better weapons in here, just depending on what I want to use or give to people. Of course, Locke's capes to give them the cold resistance, which is super helpful again, early game. And over here I've got this, just some armor stands for decor in the armory. And this is just a level 1 forge, more so for decoration than anything. I'm going to go back to there and show you guys that. But here I have just a small little garden off the side. Mist Lords only. So this Mist Lords only, this is when I had friends who would play with me regularly, but I went to the Mistlands before they did. Ooh, tide's up. And because of that, I put this on here just as a way to be kind of funny, but also say, hey, if you guys don't want spoilers for some of the stuff you can get in the Mistlands, then don't go in here. And they did a pretty good job of heeding my warning, but of course they were insanely curious. But yeah, this is where I just brought in some workbenches that I was able to get, obviously, from going into the Mistlands when that first came out. And coming out the back actually brings you to this little walk around where I have some locks that have been tamed and ended up getting out of here. There should be 2 in here, but I'm wondering if it didn't glitch through the walls. Oh, there are 2 in here, actually. Oh, no, I lied. There's just the one. Jeer Bear. But I have 1 in here, and then I've got a couple other locks right over here, too. And these ones have been fed, so they were actually spawning as well. Let's eat a little honey and a little jerky. I'll eat that in a minute. So then I've just got a small little section of workbench that I need just to keep things repaired over here when the time is needed. Sometimes the locks get out and they will wreck some of my stuff over here, so it's good to keep this regularly repaired, because a Desquito will sometimes spawn and startle the locks, and then they will just go on a rampage destroying a lot of my stuff here. But we're going to go back into the castle for a moment, just so I can show you guys the actual upstairs, the balcony. So instead of turning off and going down the walkways, this time we're going to go through the Darkwood Gate, again into the main hall. This gives you a good view of the trophies, looking down at other players who come in and out. And here's where we have the kitchen. So in here, I have a number of good food items that I've crafted, and raw ingredients that I need. So I've gotten a lot of good items here that I continually try to stock up on as much as possible. In here, again, I use the shutters as a way to build my cabinets. And of course, a lot of barley flour. I've made some miscellaneous bread, I've made some jam, I've made some muck shake. Here I've got cooked meats. So these are, oops, didn't mean to eat that, but that's alright. These are all going to be just the cooked meats in order of ascending value. And then over here, I have raw meats in order of ascending value. Obviously, the only one I'm missing here is the cooked hare meat. That is one thing I've always struggled, is to get just hare meat. I never get that when I'm in the Mistlands. And they're so quick, and I'm never really on the hunt for them when I go to the Mistlands. So I just don't end up doing so. And then, of course, I've got some other foods in my personal chests. Just some things that, if I do have friends playing, I've got some good meals that and these aren't even good meals. I don't know why I said good meals, but I've got some food items that I just have access to that aren't in, like, my community chests. But, I mean, my friends are always welcome to use a lot of my ingredients. And so, here's just some things I have to stock the fire, coal. Some of the necessities. You got the cauldron. Up here I've got more cooked meals. And of course, the food preparation table to prep a lot of the other food items. And now, if we go across, I do have front balconies. This allows to see, out to the boats arriving, and then the main walkway, boardwalk coming up to the location. You have some other portals there, which I have not really set that up as a portal hub yet. That's the area that's still kind of under construction. But here I have a patio, which is just a little hangout zone. Give you some rested bonus. Usually I have this fired up. I've got the hot tub, got a fire pit, and I don't know what happened to the trophies I had on here, but I did have trophies on each of these. I believe they were deer trophies, and then the boar trophies are here. But I'm going to jump on down. We're going to go back out. I'm just going to show you guys the entrance that leads out to the plains biome. So here again, this is where I can bring in that same Bear if I want to take the locks out. So he can fit through this walkway here. It is large enough for him to fit through if I open up the doors. So he can come through here, and then he can also come across this bridge. I did moat around the entirety of this structure, and that took a long time and a ton of resources. But I did also have this is a later minute add-on. But later I did end up creating more of a farm section for some more diverse food items, which every time I pick these, I replace them in basically the exact same way, just that when it grows in, it looks nice. You know, some people aren't too worried about that. I do like to kind of try and keep it organized and nice. Let's see here. I've got no armor on, but this guy's going to get wrecked. I love this sword. But that is my castle. So let me know what you guys think of this build in the comments below. Obviously, you know, there are people who have done prettier builds, and some people are, like I said, they're just so creative, and they come up with the coolest things. I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out, but like I said, oh, yep, that's not good. But like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you guys have builds or your own videos, feel free to mention you have a video of a build in the in the comment section on the video. I would love to see what you guys have come up with, and if you guys have any similar builds that you've done in the plains or other biomes. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, and if you want to see more Valheim content or hear more updates from other games in the open world or RPG genre, this is the place for you. So would love to see you stick around, and until next time, guys, well met.